Pokemon Sword and Shield, the most talked about game this year for both positive and negative reasons, and no doubt one of Nintendo Switch's greatest system sellers. In the end, this title will either solidify as one of Nintendo Switch's best titles, or end up as an example of how wrong things can go even for a bestseller like Pokemon. Even so, unless you are still in the Bring Back National Dex Brotherhood, you are likely going to buy Pokemon Sword or Shield, or maybe even both. So in this video we'll go over why this game is more ambitious than you may have first thought, what is new, and what you may have overlooked in the long list of trailers for the game. So be sure to like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and follow us to the Galar region.
Galar, or Regal, as this province is Great Britain through and through, and packed with British staples, traditions, and stereotypes. To prove that we mean business, I'm not only joined by our South English gentleman Leo, but also his rebellious Scottish girlfriend, which we know you have missed since our early Pokemon memes videos. Don't worry, another one is on the way. Anyway, what is more fitting than beginning our journey across this game and the province of Galar than the hometown of Victor and Gloria? Take it away, Aaron.
The starting location of Pokemon Sword and Shield is no doubt supposed to represent southern Scotland on the border with northern England, not only based on the very Scottish apparel of the two silent protagonists, but also based on the map of Galar, which is Great Britain turned upside down. Quite fittingly, the two protagonists, Victor and Gloria, which can be customised, are very closely attached to British polite manners and empire. But less about them, as we have a hometown to explore. Right next to our home, there's the famous forest, which probably has much more to offer than the live stream that bored us to death for 24 hours straight. This might be a location we return to catch more powerful Pokemon at a later point in the game. Anyway, the champion of the region, Leon, has an important role from the beginning of the game. We will not say exactly how, as some news outlets have spoilers, but he is the older brother of your best friend and rival, Hop. Since things are a little more ambitious this time round, the opening town is a little more explorable and hilly. This is the first thing we have to give to Pokemon Sword and Shield, is the attention to realistic townscapes and landscapes. It makes the game feel more organic and less boxed in compared to previous Pokemon titles. The first town is a perfect representation of this notion. Here, you find the Pokemon Research Centre with Professor Magnolia, the railway station, Poke Centre, and stores offering different services. The opening town is also where we are first introduced to Sonia the assistant and the granddaughter of Professor Magnolia. You also have a few other lakeside areas with a few more trainers and Pokemon to battle. Things are a little more ambitious this time around, but still, the opening town serves a few key purposes, which include receiving our first Pokemon, learn the basics of battling and catching, for the first time face our rival who has more attitude than in previous titles, explore the opening town and area, gear up, then finally head for the rail station.
From here on, as Victor or Gloria, it's time to depart our hometown in southern Scotland for the Lake District and the Wild area. And with that, we leave Aaron behind in Scotland. But before we arrive by rail to the big new inclusion in the Wild area, let's go over the transportation in Pokemon Sword and Shield's Galar region. In many ways, the opening town has already shown the more ambitious level of Pokemon Sword and Shield, but it continues to its transportation and exploration options. The most obvious of these is the extensive rail system, which connects a large chunk of the Galar region, the classic bicycle, and new inclusion, the flying taxi service approved by Corviknight. Corviknight is yet another example of how ambitious and British this game is when it comes to its new Pokemon. And before we even move into a brief summary of these, we have to give a big thanks to art director James Turner, who nailed the look and feel of Galar and its Pokemon. The list is so long, from new inclusions such as Corviknight, Wooloo, Yamper, Alcremie, did I say that right? Okay, Cramorant and Poltegeist, and of course the regional forms of Galarian Reezing, Ponyta, and our favourite, Sirfetch'd. We will soon get back to region exclusivity, but we had to point out how true some of these Pokemon are to the British Isles. On that note, we have arrived at the Lake District rail station and the first section of the open world in the Galar region.
The Wild area, the most anticipated and at the same time most controversial section of Pokemon Sword and Shield. On one side, this is Pokemon's Hyrule Field moment, while on the other side it looks like it's straight out of 1998 Ocarina. Love it or hate it, this area will define the game as we enter it right after departing the opening town and then return to it numerous times as we progress deeper into the game. This is also the only area where, you guessed it, you will find Pokemon out in the wild, rather than random encounters similar to Pokemon Let's Go. And in fact, this is a mainline series first. Here, beside bicycling, battling and catching Pokemon, we also find the first max raid battles against gigantic skyscraper-like Pokemon, which will be a true challenge to face. Overall, the open world wild area is massive and unlike anything we have seen in any Pokemon game prior. In fact, outlets such as The Verge have compared this area to what we see in modern Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy titles. We agree. Making the wild area connect to several of the key locations in the game is a massive accomplishment and an ambitious move from Game Freak, no matter what. But in short terms, the wild area stretches from the Lake District, passes the Pokemon equivalent of Manchester, and ends at the Gate of Windsor, which is the perfect transition to the evolved towns and gym stadiums of Galar. Let's begin with the industrial steampunk city, which we for convenience will just call Manchester, as this location is clearly based on England's third largest city. Don't worry, we are on our way to London. But Manchester will in many ways be where the true quest begins, after getting our first taste of the opening town and the wild area.
No wonder, as this is where we find the first streetscapes filled with shops, hair salons, poker centres, the Badu Inn for registered league trainers including your rivals Marnie and Bede, and most importantly, gyms. Yes, that's right, we still have to collect the traditional 8 gym badges, but talk about a leap when it comes to the gym venues. Every gym in Galar is a football-like stadium with a massive crowd and gym leaders that are treated like sports and pop stars are in our own world. These stadiums are only the beginning, as some gym leaders this time are version exclusive. So far we know that Bee's gym is exclusive to Sword, while Alistair's is exclusive to Shield, which probably indicates that some areas in Galar will be exclusive to each version. This has never happened before in Pokemon. Anyhow, as we have stated, there are a total of 8 gyms for each version, only that the paths are a little different. It seems that the first 3 gyms in Manchester/Steampunk City, the grass and water gyms, are our introduction gyms. Then the next 4 might be different depending on the version we play. The last 8 gyms will be in both versions, and its location is rather obvious here, in the castle/Windsor-like complex. Windsor is also where the wild area ends in the north, so in other words this open world area is not actually as small as it might first seem. Obviously, besides the bigger settlements with gyms, there will be, as in any Pokemon game, along with caves and longer stretches where we will get to grind our Pokemon properly. Anyway, the reason why gym battles are so hype in Sword and Shield is its gimmick, Dynamaxing and Gigantamaxing. Skyscraper forms of Pokemon like Pikachu and Charizard here, and battles that wouldn't fit in any other setting than a massive Premier League-side stadium. Yes, there is much more depth to this game in particular when it comes to its gameplay, and then for online and local multiplayer battles, which also the Pokemon Company highlighted during the World Championships back in August. For more detail on those changes, check out the official video on the topic, as we are running out of time and need to conclude the video. The gym challenge concludes with the last gym in the castle complex, or at least we think so. But as it usually is in the UK, the final is always played in one place, London, or more specifically, Wembley Stadium.
Based on the map, it appears that we will reach the capital of Galar from Windsor with one last train ride. And here the Champions Cup, headed by Chairman Rose and his secretary Oleana, will take place. Besides finding Zacian or Zamazenta, this appears to be the main quest, or at least based on the pre-release information we have so far. Obviously, at any point in the game you can set up Pokemon camps, cook up some curry, customize to your heart's content, and change your hairstyles and hair colors or whatever you want to do, and challenge a number of max raid opponents. And overall, this seems to be good compared to Pokemon X and Y, and Pokemon Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Moon. Obviously, plot-wise, it may not be a black and white, or black and white too. Same goes for the overall difficulty of the game, but the province is interesting and the new inclusions are welcome. No doubt, there are some problems with this game, but these are mostly technical. Graphics and some unconnected shadows aside, this title will likely be one of the more memorable in the series. And no doubt, there's still more to the game, as we have no idea what the story is and who the true villains of the game are. But if there's one thing that is certain and that I'm looking forward to like a little child, then it is to explore London, or the Pokemon equivalent of it, which appears to first be accessible either after completing the gym challenge or even after winning the Champions Cup. Yes, the capital of Galar will no doubt offer way more than the steampunk city, with Piccadilly Circus, the Houses of Parliament, London Eye, the Shard, and many more famous landmarks, locations, stores, services and challenges. Lumiose City in X and Y was amazing. Now we are waiting for Galar's capital, we mean London, to surpass Paris as the most ambitious city in Pokemon history and in full HD. We can't wait for November 15th. And there you have it, some reasons why Pokemon Sword and Shield is probably the most ambitious Pokemon title to date, and why it with a solid story, premise, and villain can become the most memorable title in the series. We will soon know, but for now, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and press that shiny notification bell if you're new to not miss our build up to the launch of Sword and Shield and the videos to follow afterwards. Finally, a big thanks goes to all our gracious Patreons, and you can join them too on patreon.com/commonrealm and support us that way. Until the next video, this was Conrad, Leo, and Aaron, and go also and check out these videos.